the game of life. Before we can explain how to win it, we need to define what it means to win the game of life. Ready? Let's go! So yeah, the game of life, what does it mean actually to be able to win the game of life? And for guys that actually have created a channel that's called Game of Life, that should be something I already talked about earlier. But strangely enough, no, I never. I mean, I kind of have in the back of my mind, but for me, this channel was more about explaining the different aspects of the game of life, and how we can navigate this game. But each game in its main creation have a goal, some purpose, some things that we want to achieve in this game. And so that's really difficult because when you are talking about the game of life, it's very subjective. Each person has its own idea, perspective on what it means to win the game, to win in life, and so on. So being able to define a general aspect that encapsulate everything, because this is that if we want to define something, we cannot just define it in a way that satisfies some people's perspective and doesn't satisfy other people's perspective. We need a definition that is actually broad enough that everybody can relate to. And and actually the reason why I do this video is because I wake up in the middle of the night and start thinking about that. And when it happens, I know that the night is over, and I'm going to just think about it over and over. And so I dive deeper into that. What is the meaning of the game of life? What is the purpose? And so you can say or not that maybe it's related to the meaning of life, maybe not. In my opinion, there is no meaning of life. We are just there just because. There is no reason, we are just there. And then this is about you. You are in control of your life, and this is you that create meaning in your life. But so yes, and the particularity of the game of life, so in game theory, we have two types of game. The finite game, which has a beginning, an end, and where all the rules and principles are known, and so you know exactly how to start and how to finish, and so everything is clear. And you have the other type of game, which are infinite game, and I think the game of life is actually fitting pretty well this type of game. This is an infinite game, and so the one who win in the game of life is the one that don't lose. Say it differently, it's the goal of the game of life is to keep playing the game as long as you possibly can. And so yes, you win as long as you don't lose. And then I thought about that, and I said, yes, that's really interesting, because even though winning is very subjective, it depends on each person's circumstances. Losing, what does it mean? We need to define what does it mean to lose at the game of life, because if we are winning, if we are not losing, and we are, as long as we keep playing the game, we are still on our way and we are winning. What does it mean to lose at the game of life? And then I realized that this is where the answer lies, because you can have as much answer on what it means to win the game of life for every person, but what it means to lose in this game is actually pretty simple. Death. This is game over. When you die, this is game over. And so but before before we move on, let's take a step back and just compare winning and losing, so maybe you can understand a little bit more what I'm saying about that. So in the way I deconstruct the game of life, and you can see on my channel I have different playlists that have a number from 1 to 6. And so you have first the money, which I think is a base layer of what we need in life, in our modern day and age, in order to move forward and win this game. And so when we are talking about winning on this area, this is about doing whatever the fuck we want, have enough money to do whatever the fuck we want. And so here you can see winning is subjective, because whatever the fuck you want is relative to you. But on the opposite side, losing, what it is getting broke. When you are broke, you lose. Because in the worst case scenario, you die. If you are broke, some very bad thing happened to you and you are not able to pay for some help and so on. In the worst case scenario can be you dying because you don't have enough money to sustain, either to eat, either to do some basic stuff to fulfill your physiological needs. And so what I like about this is it actually adapts to everybody on Earth depending on their circumstances, because getting broke, the amount of money required will change depending on where you are. So this is not about making as much money as possible. This is about making enough money from where you are in your life, from where you live, in order to not being broke, and then going forward more and more into the aspect of money, so you can do whatever the fuck you want. Then on the health side, so winning is about living for as long as you wish, because if you don't want to live anymore, yes, that's fine. Maybe this is you exiting the game. This is not game over. You exit the game, simply, and that can be fine. That can be fine if you have lived the life that you want to live. And on the opposite side, it can losing. It's about having health issue, and that can result dying, but dying unwillingly, before you have reached your full potential, before you have lived everything you wanted to live, and so on. And so here again, losing is very clear into this dimension of health of the game of life, of longevity. If you are not healthy, you will die soon, and game over, simply. So let's move on. I'm going to do so security. First side, winning security is going to be safe enough. Again, this is subjective. Social, having a satisfying social life, again subjective. It depends on how social you need to be. Mastery, being successful, again this depends on your ambition and so on, and your past. And fulfillment, enjoying life. And so the way we enjoy life is depend on it shows us. But on the opposite side, so security can be being attacked, being having less life threatened things that happen to us, and so that can result die, or that can result compound effect on getting broke and then die, and so on. And on the social part is being desperately alone, and this human being have a need of connection with other human being, even though some people have less of it than others, but still there is still a minimum threshold that you need. And for some people, not having this can be a reason for killing themselves. It can be so depressing and so on. So this can be a reason for losing at the game of life. Then mastery, being a complete failure, whatever it means to you, and so wanted to kill yourself because you are not able to do anything with your life. So I know this is extreme case, but at least we have some definition, some clear end point of, okay, if you're not doing that, you are doing the opposite. And so yes, and the final is fulfillment about being chronically depressed, and that can result again dying. I know that's not very funny, but on the opposite side, as I say, I listed to you what does it mean also to win, but that's subjective. Money, you do whatever the fuck you want. Longevity, living for as long as you wish. Security, being safe enough so you feel secure and relaxed about your life and your situation. Being social, having a satisfying social life. And mastery, being successful, fulfillment, enjoying life to the deepest and fullest of your ability. So winning is a matter of subjectivity, and losing is more objective and put everybody on the same standard. So we cannot define how to win using winning, but I mean, with what I said, you can have a clear idea of what it means to you, and that's really important to have this clear idea of what it means to win for you. But then you also understand what it means to lose at the game of life, and this, we are all on the same page on that. We are all equal. So just a second. Yeah, and so how you die is going to dictate if you win or lose loss at the game of life. If you live a very good life, a life that you have enjoyed, and you reach the end of your life and you say, I'm happy of the life I lived and I'm ready to die. And so this is about that. This is, are you exiting this game or are you game over? So this is a very big difference. I am willingly exiting this game because I have lived the life I wanted to live, or do I just die by game over? And I think that's a pretty interesting way to think about this game. Yeah, either lose and die or live a great life and willingly embrace death because you are satisfied of the way you lived your life. The goal is not to lose, because as long as you don't lose, you win. Very interesting. And I want to come back also with the meaning of life. As I said, there is no meaning. None. Stop looking for meaning in your life. There is none. And so, outside of you, I mean, there is no superior force and so on, meaning your life. But this is up to you to give meaning to your life. So, yes. Anyway, I think that's nice. I'm really happy. That cost me one night of sleep, but I'm really happy with this reflection, which I think is a good one. So thanks you for watching, and I see you next time.